So by the time you're seeing this video, it will officially be my birthday. So yay to 29. So this video, as you can tell from the title, I will be talking about what I am keeping in my last year of my 20s and also what I'm getting rid of. So, you know, for me personally, 29 gonna be a good year, at least I hope so. And as I transition into my 30s, I know that may seem really young for some of you who watch this channel, or for others of you who watch this channel that may seem quite far down the line. But being in my last year of my 20s, I really want to make it monumental in terms of setting myself up for my 30s. Taking into my 30s the things and practices that I find are beneficial to my life and useful, things that are helping me progress into the person and future that I want to see and experience, and also just thinking about the things that haven't maybe served me as well in my 20s, things that I think are time to get rid of now. And yeah, it's kind of just a reflective video, I guess you could say. But I also think I'm kind of doing it for personal reasons, because I think it will be really interesting to watch back this video when I'm in my late 30s and to see what has changed, what I'm saying now versus what I'll be thinking and feeling then. And so that's one of the things that I really, really love about YouTube, is that you get to see the progression of yourself, of your thoughts and your approach to life. And so I'm looking forward to watching this maybe a decade from now. So if you are new to my channel, then hi, my name is Deandra and I go by the name of Finance D, and I talk about personal finance topics. I'm really just trying to share my journey to financial independence. If you're not too sure what that means, then I've got lots of videos on this channel about financial independence and the FIRE movement. And so I'm just trying to share all the tips and the tricks and not such tips and tricks along my journey that I'm finding are really helping me to be in a better place financially. So of course, in today's videos, some of the things that I talk about will be money or finance related, because that's what this channel is mainly about. But there will also be some things that are not finance related, because life is not all about money. There is so much more to me, there is so much more to anybody than just money. So I do want to be careful to not give that impression on my channel that it's all about money. So of course, in these lessons, there'll be a mixture of both. So with all that being said, let's get into point number one. The first thing that I'm taking into my last year of my 20s is to not live my life based on the opinions of others. And even though this is something that's kind of generally said, I think people find it very, very difficult to actually live a life that isn't based on the opinions of others. I have always tried to be quite confident in myself and not let what other people think, or in fear of what other people may say, dictate my life. But quite recently, just when I started this YouTube channel, I realized that actually I did care way too much about what other people thought, because I contemplated for a while and really hesitated about starting this channel because I was scared of what other people may say, what other people may think, how it may be perceived. And, you know, that's when I realized that I am actually letting what others may think of me dictate what I do or do not do. So in part of me trying to fight against that, I did push through and start this YouTube channel, and it has by far been one of the best, most rewarding things that I have ever done. It's also been a lot of hard work, but I'm seeing so many amazing things come from it. And so I'm saying all that to say that if you do or you don't do certain things based on others' opinions or based on how you think other people may perceive you, you are really holding yourself back from potentially great opportunities, great breakthroughs that will change your life. And so I challenge you, if there's anything that you've held off on because you're scared of what others may think or say, then just go ahead and do it. You never know what's waiting on the other side. The second point is a cliche, but very true. And that is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I really genuinely believe this, because without a plan, you have no direction, you have no real vision, and you just kind of sometimes shoot in the dark. You don't really know where you're going, you're just giving this a go and you're trying this, and before you know it, you don't actually have something that you're working towards, so it doesn't feel like maybe you've achieved as much as you would want to. And so planning having goals, having a vision board, having something that you can work towards is really important in progressing your life and making sure that you're able to achieve things that you can be proud of, that can advance your life and just make it more enjoyable all around. And one of the concepts that I really believe in planning is budgeting. So, I talk about budgeting a lot on my channel because I believe it is the foundation of good personal finance management, essentially. If you don't budget, your money will kind of just tell you what it wants to do as opposed to you telling your money what to do. I always, at the beginning of every single month, well, at the end, because that's when myself and my husband get paid, at the end of every month, our money goes to where it needs to go to. Bills get paid immediately, savings get topped up immediately, investing gets done immediately, our giving gets done immediately. All those things that need to be done, they just get done. Because if you don't prioritize that and you don't plan that, something else will always come up. And I'm saying this from experience. So really, if you don't have a plan, you're really just planning to fail. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I really do encourage you to have plans for your life and definitely have plans for your money. The third thing that I'm keeping and really wanting to crank up in my last year of my 20s is to find somebody that inspires you, that motivates you, or better yet, have them mentor you. And I think it's really important that you surround yourself with people who make you feel like you need to do better, that make you feel like you need to improve. Of course, that's not going to be everyone in your life, but it's really important to have people that you're able to look up to and aspire to kind of achieve what they've achieved, not in the exact same way, but overall achieved what they've achieved. And so for me personally, I've really started to do that this year. In fact, I already did this probably from the age of 19, 20. I did it during my college. I found a researcher that I really looked up to and I asked her if I could work with her or intern with her and kind of just sit underneath her, and we developed a great relationship and I had great opportunities because of that. So I did start this really over a decade ago, but it's something that I have found has been really great in my growth, in my journey, and it's something I will absolutely take into my 30s. I think you should never feel like you've made it. You should always be willing to grow and always be wanting to grow. And if you can find that person who inspires you, and again, who can maybe mentor you, then this is something that I think would be really beneficial to your growth and to your journey. The fourth point that I want to make, and that I'm completely getting rid of and leaving behind in my 30s, is debt. And that is because debt is debilitating and it really does stifle growth. Debt keeps you looking back and it doesn't help you to look forward. And that is the sad reality with debt, because you're paying for your past decisions or mistakes or whatever you did, and your present money and potentially your future money is going towards that. So you can't really look forward as much when you have to be paying off debt. And the debilitating aspect of it is the fact that it feels like a heavy burden. It feels like, each month you get paid, a good portion of your money has to go towards debt, and it's like, wow, I've just got paid, I've worked so hard in the past month, and instead of me being able to enjoy the fruits of my labor, I'm now having to pay this credit card company or this loan for a decision that I made a while ago, or for some clothes that I bought that I didn't really need, or that holiday that I went on that I couldn't actually afford. It's just not the way of life. And so for me, that whole debt lifestyle, whacking something on a credit card but not fully knowing how I can pay it off in full, is just done for me. And I'm definitely not doing that in my last year of my 20s, and absolutely not bringing that into my 30s. The fifth point that I want to touch on is if you can try to find a way to live on 60 to 70% of your income, that would allow for you to save between 30 to 40% of your income per month. This is a big goal and this is a stretch. So I'm not saying this lightheartedly, and I'm not saying this that, it's something that you could achieve immediately. But for me, that's something that I have really tried to work on in the last couple of years. And only now / the beginning of 2020, because I budget 12 months in advance, will I get to the point where I can save / invest 30% of our household income every month. and it's taken me time to get there. Getting to a place of being able to do that is just life-changing, because you really start to feel that you're not living paycheck to paycheck as much. You're living on less. You're able to see that every single month your savings and your investments are getting bigger. And that way, you know your future is becoming more secure, and those money worries that you maybe had before just start to go down. And for me personally, I can say in the past year or two, past 2 years, every single month I've been closer to feeling like money is less of a stressor in my life. Every single month I'm getting closer to feeling that what I imagine you'd feel when you're financially independent. And so if you're able to strive towards that, I think it's a great place to try and get to, because if you have a 30 to 40% savings rate, you're gonna do pretty well financially in your life. And so yeah, I think that is a top tip for my 30s. Number 6 is to give yourself the freedom to not live a linear life. Life is not on a straight line. It doesn't have to be the same for 10, 20, 30 years. You can change things, and sometimes change is scary, and I understand that. But some of the most impactful things in my life has been when I've had changes. So you may or may not know that when I was a teenager, I moved from the UK to the US, and I lived there for 8 years, and then I moved to France to do my master's degree, and then I moved back to England. And in all those moves, I have grown exponentially each time. It's taken off the limits of my life of what I think is achievable and what I think I can achieve. And so, that change at the time feels very, very scary. It's very overwhelming and daunting, and I've got some stories to tell about those experiences, but it's really helped with my growth. And so I think it's really important to remember that life doesn't have to be on a straight trajectory. It can change. You can change your career, you can change countries or cities, you could change friendships and develop new friendships that are more meaningful or more positive. So the point in all that is saying that life isn't linear. Change is essential. It's a part of life, and it really is what helps you grow. So don't be afraid to make a change if you want to make a change. Point number 7 is show up for yourself at least once a day. And I think this is really important. It's something that I'm definitely trying to bring into my last year of my 20s, because in my 30s, I want to make sure that I am living my best life. I want to make sure that at least once a day I'm doing something for myself, whether that's going for a really lovely walk, or going to do my favorite gym class, or taking time out to just read a book that I wanted to read, or cook a favorite meal, or go out to a restaurant and eat my favorite meal. It's just about taking time for yourself every day. And of course, I'm not a parent yet, so maybe that will change one day in the future when I have children, because it'll be hard to do that. But I still think even when you do have a busy life, it's so important to take that care for yourself, because if you don't care for yourself, no one else will. So you have to do it. Point 8 is giving really makes the world go around. And when you do it, you just feel good about it, and you're doing your part to make the world go around. And giving is something that I have really tried to implement in my life for the past 10 years. I wouldn't say it's something that I have always been the most consistent with, but it's something that I want to be very consistent with in my future. I think it's just so important. And I also want to be more intentional with my giving. So when I say intentional, I'm talking about really doing things or giving into areas that I strongly believe in, that I'm passionate about, that I believe will really make a change. And also when it comes to giving, it may not just be about money, it can be about time. Some of the most rewarding things that I've done in terms of giving is giving of my time, whether that's volunteering or helping a family or friend. Giving of your money or your time is just such an important thing to do. And again, it makes the world go around, and you just feel like a better person when giving is a part of your lifestyle. So that's something that I'm definitely going to crank up in my last year of my 20s and go full force in my 30s. And the last point that I'm going to make is about having multiple income streams. So I've been talking about this a lot more in my channel recently, because it's only in the past 12 months have I started to have multiple income streams. and I'm really seeing now the importance of it. COVID was a big wake-up call for a lot of us, and more I just believe it's the only way. I believe it's so important to not rely on one job, one income stream, because if anything was to happen to that job, your whole life could be derailed, and that's really not what you want. That's not what you want to experience. And so having multiple income streams just means that if one thing is impacted, at least you've got a few other things to help you through that time until you can maybe get another job or something. And so this is something I'm probably going to be talking about quite a bit more on my channel, because it's something that I'm finding is really helpful to me, and so I'm hoping it can also be encouraging to others as well. So those are my lessons and things that I am taking into my last year of my 20s, and as I said, planning to move forward into my 30s. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, like and subscribe, it's much appreciated, and write me some comments down below. Love to read them and love to engage. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video real soon.